Yo guys, welcome back to another YouTube live stream. It's me, mrjayowhy. Hope you're having an awesome day. We've had a pretty big teaser drop today about Fortnite Chapter 7 Season 2 regarding the Ice King, or Ice Kings, or 0 point shards, I suppose, or zero shards as we'd like to call them here. So, some pretty big stuff to discuss on the channel today. Right, let me get up the chat for you. Hope you all have been having a wonderful day, and I hope you had a wonderful week as well. Also, if you did buy anything in the Fortnite item shop, consider using credit code MrJoy. I've just got myself the Dino Thunder bundle. Victory Vibes, I think we got a new dance, haven't we? Boom, boom, bass. Yep. The order's here. If you want to try and complete your 7 sets, the order is in the item shop. We got Kim Kardashian. Marvels. Oh, we got some X-Men's as well in. The Lawrence here, if you want that. Pacific Break, as well as a bunch of other skins. And also, consider using code MrJoy, mrjayowhy in the Fortnite item shop. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, guys. Right. So I get some early likes in the stream. I should probably notify the Discord. I mean, I did notify them. I'm going live in an hour, so you know. At everyone, now live. Cool. Fortnite Builder, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. How are you doing? Oh, it's a fine day. Typical, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. Welcome in. So I'll drop in the game quickly as to everyone get in, I suppose. Cookie, how's it going? Early today so I don't miss anything. Awesome to see Fortnite Builder. Thank you. It's quick. Hello, welcome to the stream. Octane, Dino. Jesse, how's it going? What's up? Fortnite, Ice King, Season 2. That's what's up. Raw. Raw indeed. Ultra, how's it going? Just finished school for the day? Nice. Ultimate's here as well. For the first time ever, Kim K isn't the first bestseller. Oh, I didn't even see that. Who wants my crown? Anyone in the lobby wants my crown? Oh, everyone. Everyone. About time Polar Peak has an upgrade. Well, technically it has had an upgrade. This is not the same peak. Is it? Anyway, we're going to be discussing that it soon. You're in my game. Please don't stream snipe me. I guess we can talk about some of the stuff now, actually. Oh, can we? I don't know. How do I want to set up the video? That is the question. Chat, who saw the rocket event yesterday? And who missed it? So essentially that loading screen that we had of the Dark Voyager and Lynx as well, where we saw them looking at positions on the map, that looks to be where the Zero Shard Pure Portals would be once this mini event happens. And they're actually also teasers, we believe now, for next season's locations. So we could be having possibly 3 new POIs for Season 2. And maybe something happens to the Dark Voyager as well. Which is pretty cool. Oh my god, Ziggy! I do not hang around. I do not hang around. Got ourselves a sniper. Oof. Oh, there's 7 POI. Oh, you're talking about the one with the lighthouse? Because I was feeling them vibes from the moment I saw that. I don't know, that's what you're saying. But I was definitely thinking that. Which I answered that. Cool. Yes, the POI that was in the desert. Well, there's 2 of them, isn't there? If it's the one towards classified canyons, I can see now. I'm talking about the lighthouse one. That gave me like chapter 2 season, chapter 3 vibes, you know. But I presume he's talking about the one by the desert. Is this mainly a talk stream? Yeah, that's whatever it will be. I don't think I set streams up like that. You know, sometimes we record a bit, sometimes we don't record a bit. First game on, chat. First game on. First game on. That's my excuse anyway. Did you do the story quests? I haven't done them yet. We'll probably do them a bit later. Tiny, how's it going? Talk alright? Yeah, that'd be this stream. Or at least a bit of this stream. Story quests went available right after the event. Yes, they did. But I just didn't do them. It was late, so I think I played for a bit and went to bed, didn't I? I've heard a rumour of another event happening today. I think it's tomorrow for the Power Hour. Something happened at the Power Hour, and just before it as well. But, you know, it could be happening. Who am I to say? Right, so what we're here to discuss is... Okay, you know what? Let me get the right screen. Yeah. So what we're here to discuss is this tweet from Fortnite. This Power Hour will be different. You're starting with a legendary arc lightning gun and a self-revive device. The Power Hours could be so good, but I feel like they need to work on their weapons. We had a little conversation about this earlier in the week, didn't we, about Power Hours and what they can do to make them a little bit more exciting. But maybe this is it, because they did tweet out this video with it as well, which shows... Okay, let's turn this down a bit. Which shows the Zero Shard at a new POI and the order saying come. So, you know, we're gearing up for some sort of a war or some sort of action against, I guess, the 7 and probably the Dark Voyager. Or, as I'm going to surmise by this location, the Ice King. I'm going to presume, I did say in Discord, didn't I, that it could be our Ice King, but I do think it's the Ice King we see in this OG as well. I would like them to try and incorporate the other Ice King as well. I think there's ways of doing that. But it probably will be the OG Ice King or the Reality Unknown Ice King. But there we go. Our first teaser for Chapter 2... I wish they changed the chapter names. Our first teaser for Chapter 7 Season 2. Which we still believe to be Norse theme. And we have been talking, it has been pretty much locked in for a while, and that the Ice King will be a boss for Chapter 7, Season 2. We've been discussing that for ages, it feels like. Maybe even a year. No, not that long. But it does feel like that at this point. But this looks cool. So it says, see you at 3:30 p.m. Eastern tomorrow for the Power Hour. And I guess maybe the reality wave is going to pop out. But for that to happen, I guess the Dark Voyager event has to happen, though. So maybe that's what one of you in chat were talking about. It's meant to be an event. Oh my god, how many times have we referenced this thumbnail? Not thumbnail, loading screen now. Chat, thanks for the likes on the stream. Thanks for the 7 likes as well, chat. I do appreciate it. Okay, where's this from now? I need to find for the 1500th time. There it is. There it is. There you are. Okay, that's not what I meant to do. So Blortzen has tweeted out this. Based on the new Season 2 teasers we had, this will be the upcoming map changes for Season 2, or shard places. So it's the 3 shard teasers we got. One in the desert, and that looks very Chapter 7. That looks like to be there. We got this location too, where it appears there's going to be a lighthouse. Some sort of ice tundra, I suppose, which will be this Ice King biome. So I would have to assume hold there, chat. Hold there, chat. I'd have to assume that this event has to happen before Nat, doesn't it? Because Nat what creates the pure portals. No? Oh, I don't know. Tortilla, how's it going? Anyway, what am I doing here? What screen do I want? What screen do I want? I'll go back to the original thing I was looking at. Oh, don't click off it. Damn, idiot. But anyway, back to this. I presume this is what the loading screen back in this one was teasing. Maybe the locations are not quite precise, but I guess that's what the Dark Voyager was doing. Also, Discord did confirm to us yesterday, a weird Discord leak, that the Dark Voyager was using the Storm as well as to try and find the other shards, as well as maybe a multitude of other things. But I guess it's got something to do with whatever Lynx is doing here. So I guess these are the locations that come out afterwards. So I guess that was happening there then. So I guess we are getting answers, chat. This is in a very weird way, I suppose. So, obviously from this, we've obviously had realities come to our, our island before. I guess the 0 point will just open up those pure portals and then bring the locations and replace the locations on the map we have now, which will be a non-POI over here. There isn't actually one here. Unless this is just going to be a shard area, there isn't going to be, and that's going to be a build up to something else. But, well, actually, no, because this one reveals this POI, so maybe another teaser will reveal another POI. But that's got to be later on for when the Dark Voyager travels out and then comes back to us. So I guess that's what's happening. Apparently, one of the portals is showing the zero shot on the island already. Wait, what? Oh, one of them on the island. Okay, I see this. But that's just a desert tundra. Same with this ice one now showing this. I get what you're saying. Maybe one of them is. And maybe we're only getting 2 POIs because... Is this on the island? Is this... And this ice one's definitely not. I said that yesterday. I know someone said something along the lines of that, but I'm not entirely sure. So anyway, I guess we're getting the Dark Voyager event tomorrow. I think the rift gates would leak into the island. Yeah, I wouldn't say leak. I'll just say that the 0 point will just click it. Well, whatever's left of that zero, or whatever's. That's kind of a glass half full, half empty. It's not really what's left of the 0 point. It's what's come in. Well, I don't know. It's whatever the 0 point. With freeze shards, you definitely can, change reality. Like what we saw in Chapter 6 at the end event. That 0 shard was able to completely heal the island. So that 3 0 shards can definitely, and once the other 0 shards from them pure portals come in, the Dark Voyager can bring those POIs. If he is working with the Ice King and the Dark Voyager's like, do you want your POI? Do you want your Ice Moon? You want your Ice Kingdom here? Yeah, easy, done. It's a 0 point, easy. But this was actually teased, or at least the whole thing about the Dark Voyager messing with the storm, or maybe the shards, was actually teased through a Fortnite short. So we have been on this channel, I think, looking at the YouTube shorts that Fortnite has been posted, and they are actually pretty important, it turns out, because according to Restro, this actually had Morse code in it, which no one picked up at the time. We need to pay attention more. I mean, we have been paying attention, but more attention to Fortnite story-related shorts. In this Ice Storm event teaser, they tease the Ice King having a 0 shard, but which is at this bottom bit here, innit? There we go. And obviously now we can see where it is. But what the majority missed was there was actually Morse code in the teaser. Oh yeah, I don't know if you can hear it. Well, we missed it. The Morse code read either shard or storm. It was a bit hard to tell. Maybe it's meant to be both, because that makes sense, Messing around with the storm to find the shards. Ice King brings a shard. It was a bit hard to tell, but that's the conclusion FN Assist and I drew together. Either way, starting with Chapter 7, it seems the future of the story is going to be teased with shorts, so keep your eyes peeled and listen closely. The crack sound? No, not the crack sound. There's like a... You might... My desktop audio might be a bit quiet. Hold on, let me try and turn it up and then turn the music off. On. Okay, this might be really loud now. Let me just bring it up. You not hear it? We need to listen out more, chat. Anyway. You might have to... I dropped the video to Discord. You might have to hear it on your own devices. You might be able to hear it better. Oh, I've dropped it in the general on the Discord if anyone wants to have a look at it again. But anyway, that's why I would then say that we're definitely having the Ice King from OG from this. I don't think we're going to see the original Ice King. I hope we do. I was out for a run and I was kind of thinking, oh, what if the Dark Forger goes to the previous Ice King, our original Ice King, because he's got the shard. And he's like, well, I'm going to take it off you. And the Ice King says, you're not powerful enough, just you alone. And then he went, well, no, but with this other Ice King I am. Or something. I don't know. I was just spitballing, essentially. But it does look like we're only getting this Ice King at the moment. So it does actually, you know what we've been talking about for the last few weeks now? It does seem like we've been talking about it almost every day. The Ice King, this Ice King being a Battle Pass skin. It does seem like that is now confirmed that what we saw is actually a tier, a first style of said skin. So that's pretty cool. Oh, actually, Restro has isolated the Morse code, so this is what you could hear. Hold on, where is it? That's what you could hear in the actual teaser. Pretty cool, no? Pretty cool. So a bit more information about Season 2 before we move on, chat. Chapter 7 Season 2 has 5 big updates, not 4. Up to 0.50 got tested so far. Release dates being like this. Season release March 19th, April 1st, April 16th, April 30th, May 14th. Oh, we're gonna have a Star Wars update in the next season as well. June 4th. Interesting. Start of summoning, even though we're going to talk about the Ice King. But I still think there's a good chance that this Season 2 is going to be Norse themed. And I think that's, the Ice King's backstory will be based in Norse mythology. Star Wars update is pretty much a given at this point. Yeah, so it'll probably be April 30th update. For obviously May 4th. But the storyline in Chapter 7 grows from strength to strength, update to update, teaser to teaser, which is good to see. I also wonder. Oh, let's go to Fortnite OG to have this end of this video in OG. I think Jay, do you think we're going to get a Reality Unknown version of every 7 member? Oh yeah, because we should do. Why wouldn't... If we really need help from other members of 7, why wouldn't the Reality Unknown visitor call the other 7? That would be weird. The only Reality Unknown we wouldn't get is the Imagined. Wait, why? What do you mean she already died? No. I mean, the visitor was only talking about our orders Imagined. That's how you lost your Imagined. And then the order was like, he hasn't lost anyone yet. He doesn't know what... He doesn't think how I think. Imagined died... Yes! No, the Reality Unknown Imagined! Let's not do this every time we need to talk about both 7s at the same time. Let's not start this. Oh no. It's gonna be a long year. Okay, Marcelo. Go, go, Power Rangers. Still think the Zero Shot might be in there, chat. I did say that, didn't I? But apparently we saw the prisoner in it, so who knows? Or Blackheart. So I wonder if Fortnite next season will do anything with this table. Now, apparently, it did come out that this table and the signs on this table were pretty much random. The guy who did it didn't have any sort of prompts. He wasn't given anything. They just said, you know, do a table, and he ended up, you know, cooking, apparently. But that doesn't mean that Fortnite, because of all the theories about this table, couldn't incorporate that. So it would be cool if Fortnite eventually dives in to the elementals. To the prisoner, the Ice King, maybe Blackheart in, obviously, Reality Unknown. And I guess, you know, whatever happened, happens. But it would be nice if, you know, they dive deeper into... We need it. We do need it. The table caused insane theories. It did for many a year. Many a year. But anyway, guys, that is Fortnite Season 2. Fortnite Chapter 7 Season 2. The Ice King will play a major role in that season. Hopefully we get some talk about the other Ice King friends, the Elementals. And Fortnite will obviously tease more POI changes with the Pure Portal and the Zero Shards. And I guess the 0 point, or what's... I keep saying what's left of it, but that's not... That seems wrong, because what's come... Anyway, the 0 point will be bringing... The zero shards we got, which will make up the 0 point eventually, will probably bring in the other 0 shards and the new locations. If you did enjoy this video, leave a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, use support creator code mrjayowhy in the Fortnite item shop when buying, I don't know, the Power Ranger Dino Thunder skins. Hashtag ad. Until next time, it has been your boy mrjayowhy. Till next time, bye-bye. Right, there we go. W's in chat for the video. W's. Thank you. Jay, I think the Paradigm Reality 659 is from a different reality. No! No! We had this discussion. It can't be. No. It was the one that went in the mech to... Oh, I just thought of a get out of jail card for the whole singularity paradigm situation. But anyway, let me do this. So they went... Paradigm went up to the moon. Paradigm came back down once Zero War happened. Paradigm then drove the mech. Paradigm to 7 then got Chrome, and then, you know, Paradigm did her stuff in season 3 and season 4, and then Paradigm did Zero Fusion. That is the same Paradigm. But the Ice King can shift that reality. It can shift that moon. He can take it to different realities, right? What if Singularity went to the Ice Moon, and I guess another Paradigm went to another Ice Moon. See, this is when the story gets stupid. This is why I don't like time. This is why I don't like multiple sevens. And just for example, there was this weird glitch where the moon switched. So they thought it was, you know, and they just, you know, didn't look at the face. And because we're only loopers and they just never dealt with it, you know, they just thought, okay, well, that's our Paradigm now. That's our Paradigm now. So, Singularity, have you done anything with your hair? No. I'm joking, that'd be stupid. I don't get what you're saying. The Ice King can move that Ice Moon. It was established in Zero War. He can put that moon into whichever reality he so chooses to, along with it, you know, with the stuff. Yeah, I'm saying if they wanted to try and write out the whole Paradigm Singularity thing, maybe, unbeknownst to all of them, but then again, Singularity's got like black hair, so I don't know how they would confuse that. And it's a different face. But say if two alternate versions of 7 both went to an ice moon, and for whatever reason, them just shifted around, they would have different paradigms without knowing. It's stupid. It's not. I'm just spitballing. I mean, it's stupid. I'm not really saying anything, but for example, that could happen. So the Ice Moon can travel to yes, that was established in Zero War. I'm just saying, if there's multiple Ice Kings, multiple Ice Moons can move around different realities. See, that's when it gets stupid. That's when it gets stupid. You know, I don't care about alternate versions of characters that may be a little different, but narratively, is it confirmed that the Crow members of the 7 died? No. No, it's 100%. Well, the visitor, the scientist. Sorry, the visitor origin, MIA. Or the scientists know isn't. We have 100% confirmation. Actually, you know what? It's been a while since we looked at that. So I'm going to get them up. I'm going to explain it for the new kids in the room. What are we doing?
So you freed the 0 point. That's great. Or, you know.
That didn't age well, did it, Joel?
Paradigm, if you're listening to this, it means I'm gone. I don't know where they took me, and I don't know if I'll be back. I promised we'd never leave you alone again, and I promised freeing the 0 point would be safe. Everything's my fault, so whatever happens to me, I deserve it. I programmed Amy to take care of you and whoever's left. I hope there are people left. I'm sorry it ended like this.
I've always thought we were the better 7 out of millions of 7s in the known Armyverse. Didn't quite catch that bit.
I think the 0 point brought us an old 7 comms relay. I found the scientist. He's in his underground biolab researching that strange substance spreading across the island. The visitor is there too, along with the Origin. We've been asked to find and bring some 7 gear to the lab. It sounds like we're going off grid. Nothing here. Nope. Nothing. This looks like what Mr. Big Blue and Responsible needs. I wonder what they're researching down there. I need your help. Now. Amy, help him find the scientist's notes. Notes! Get his notes. Those zero...
See, everyone gets it twisted. So we had the trailer for Paradise, which showed this interaction. But for whatever reason, everyone took these two lines as being contradictory. But they're not contradictory. We literally have Paradigm that goes, oh, I found them. They're here. Okay, I need to go and do something for the scientists. Boom, boom, boom. But then we get this dialogue.
Down there. I need your help. Now. Amy, help him find...
She changes her tone completely. She goes, I need your help now. Amy, get the scientist's notes now.
The scientist's notes. Notes! Get his notes. Those 0-point energy shockwaves were flares. A galactic will go dormant. Here goes nothing.
So, we literally have confirmation. This is a confirmation that the scientist is alive.
If you're listening to this, it means I'm gone. I don't know where they took me, and I don't...
But everyone gets it. Everyone, like, I don't know, just looked at the trailer and went, ugh. Yeah, there might be 2 sevens or 6 sevens or 8 sevens or who knows how many sevens they are. So anyway, confirmation that the scientist is alive. So if the scientist is alive, they all should be fine, no? But yeah, so everyone did the vibing quests, and then the Paradise trailer, or the Fracture trailer, as we found out recently. That season actually should have been called Fracture. Crazy.
He lost so much of the island to that crow.
Oh, we can hear that order line.
Not surprising given the sound.
That's an order. No, it's Paradigm, you idiot.
Seen such accelerated
Silly order. Not order, Odin.
I'm starting to think this may be a problem.
So basically, okay, I can't mess this up. Actually, I don't have the other video I was just talking about. So we have Paradigm who goes, oh, I found the scientist, I found the origin, I found the visitor. Oh, and they want me to go and do something. And then she goes, oh, get the notes now, Amy. Because obviously, if Amy had said, if Paradigm had said to Amy what had happened, she would fly off a handle. She'd be no use to anyone.
Paradigm, if you're listening to this, it means I'm...
I found the scientist. He's in his underground biolab researching that strange substance spreading across the island. The visitor is there too, along with the origin. We've been asked to find and bring some 7 gear to the lab. It sounds like we're going off grid. Nothing here. Nope. Nothing. This looks like what Mr. Big Blue and Responsible needs. I wonder what they're researching down there. I need your help. Now. Amy, help them find...
And then I think when she then, because that's not the same quest, that's different logs. So at that point she go, so that obviously, that's after this point. And then she travels to 659 and, you know. I don't know why everyone dismissed them to audio logs. It tracks well. It's just because everyone got completely thrown by the trailer. But the trailer has to tell something to people that don't, you know, do the quest lines all the time. It's got, you know, it's got to tell half the story. Okay, the Order and the Foundation, we have to presume that their helmets were found and that they faked their death or faked their demise for whatever reason. And they were never chromed. What did she do in 659? Got Zero Fusion ready. That's why she needed the scientist notes. Zero Fusion was a backup plan. That was the backup plan. We were making the 14 joke yesterday, actually. But what, Zero Fusion? I'm so lost. Oh, Zero Fusion is So we had the fracture event. That's okay. Well, you know, it's hard to retain this whole story in your head. So Zero Fusion Fortnite. This is your journey now.
I've done everything I can. This is your fight now.
So this is Zero Fusion. This is when, after the 0 point dies, they bring the realities together. So Paradigm, I don't know what the 7 plan was. It must have been a fail-safe. The scientists must have worked out if the 0 point ever fractures or breaks, they can try and form a new island by using Zero Fusion. So I don't know if they pre-selected the realities, because it'd be really interesting when the scientist comes back, because I think it was deliberate. I've always said this. I think it's deliberate. The realities that were selected. You're telling me. So we actually get a Sloan teaser very early here. So we get pyramids. We get the IO tank. There was another thing here. Oh yeah, we've got an IO tank up here. So we've got a tank and a drill. Sorry. So it's a very early Sloan teaser. That's like, you know, the wild part of the map was actually encased with, you know, underneath the map for season 3. So to me, we obviously got brutal. We then got the Oathbound POI. Very important. Very important realities. This was the 5 realities. Cyan just went off. I don't know what happened. I don't know what he saw, and he just ran somewhere else. But this basically what it was. It was pre-selected realities, because the first season we get the chance to find the 7 again with the Rift Gate, with a great mind like Stellan and Aegis and the Oathbound. So for me, that can't be a coincidence, can it, chat? For me, that has to be set by a scientist, and the scientist must have been like, "Oh, if I go," because he was like, "I hope there's others out there." That must have been what his plan was, the backup. Because the first season, Amy gets a chance to go and find a scientist, but then we didn't really get much on. But another failsafe was Sloan, and Sloan did, you know, OG. Without that, we wouldn't have Big Bang, and we wouldn't be where we are now, trying to. Well, we're not trying to do anything. Dark Voyager's putting together the 0 point, but you know what I mean. It was 4 different realities plus reality 0. Yeah, so it was in an you might disagree, but I still think Chapter 4, obviously because of what Paradigm says, we're going to have to get up the event. Because of what Paradigm says, she says we are far from home now. I should be recording this. I might have to. This is a good video. I might have to record this after. Yeah, but I'm going to ignore the deleted scene. It at least says it here, and this was in the game, so this is canon.
Status report. Amy, status report.
Before I forget, that Amy we have is definitely the reality unknowns, because it was part of the AI system for the rocket when it landed. I completely missed it.
Nav is down. 7 comms are fried. Everything's off.
Apparently got fixed now for the whole chapter 6 event.
Fine.
This is really loud.
These coordinates are wrong. We are far from home.
To me, that's canon confirmation that chapter 4 doesn't apply in the same reality. So, bringing up the map from yesterday for what Ethan done. Chapter 4 happens in a different reality, right? Oh wait, I updated this. I updated this. Wait. I did update this. Oh, here we go. So yeah, we updated it yesterday with the Blast Off event. So do we think that back in the day we did have this theory that the whole season 4 event, the Visitor would have just came out in season X? And I'm seeing a lot of people on Twitter saying, "Oh, did the Visitor just go from season 4 for OG?" But I'm not sure about that, because we're also meant to believe that the Dark Voyager, that the Visitor's been chasing the Dark Voyager down, and the rocket is like, it's aged, didn't it? It's got like rusty bits on it. It's got like, so I don't know. We're meant to believe this, but then we're also meant to believe OG is taking place after the Big Bang, and it's like some sort of, that's where it's split off the timeline. But then that wouldn't make any sense. Or are we meant to believe that Fortnite OG, that this is the reality that the Visitor's from, yeah? Like, no, he would have said that, wouldn't he? And it's like, this Fortnite OG is happening in this, like, weird past of this. I don't know. We leave that for now. But anyway, that paradigm line, I think, confirms that Chapter 4 occurs in another reality. So anyway, we have the new reality we're in, plus reality zero's broken off bits from the Chromin, and 4 other realities: Oathbound, Bastion, Wilds, and then later Mega gets brought in. And then obviously, no, that's Kado Thorne's business. Possibly time does move slower. I think the Visitor Reality Unknown went from OG Season 4 to Chapter 7 because the Rift is exactly the same as a Havoc energy. Yeah, okay, he would have burnt that off like earlier, wouldn't he? Yeah, but then that confirms to me that OG has been around. That if that OG is the Visitor's reality, well, no. If that's his OG moment where the Visitor stumbles across Athena, he's obviously been doing stuff with the Dark Voyager before that. So I'm trying to say that it's hard to believe that is, for me, that confirms that it's an alt timeline and not a branch timeline. No, everything we're hearing, to me, I don't think is a branch timeline. I just think that's the Visitor going, it could be an alt. I think it's an alt timeline, but perhaps it's a branch timeline. But I don't think it is. I think it's whatever we've done here, which is, there was an alternate version of the Visitor. Where's OG? There's an alternate version of the OG, and the Visitor came from some other reality where he was chilling with the 7. And he's stumbled across this Athena OG Reality Unknown. And then travelled into this where the other 7 are. Is Ethan in chat? We might need to update this again with 2 lines of how the 7 interact with this. They have the same memories but different. Well, that could be explained that he's somehow done his own Chapter 1 somewhere else. Okay, no, that can't. Okay, we were almost there, but that contradicts that. Like, how? See, I don't. He could have still had his own Chapter 1, but Matt, that could have been years ago for him. And he's like, well, this place seems a little familiar, doesn't it? Have we done this before? Oh, I don't know. No, I can see. I can see you. I can see you today. I'm just obviously. I haven't been reading a lot of chats. Thingy. I can see you. We've been more chatting, haven't we? So I can see you. Sorry if I haven't noticed you yet. Okay, I always need to check. Yeah, no worries. No, I can see you. I just haven't. I'm sure I said one of your tweets before. Oh, maybe I haven't interacted with you yet today. But welcome in. Welcome in. Glad to have you here. That was a nice conversation, wasn't it? I think we've learned something, hopefully. Anyway, I'm leaning towards an alt timeline and not a branch timeline. I think branch timelines would mess up. I have seen someone leave something on the communities. So I'll probably I will film the communities videos very differently. I would use both of... I'll start off with that, I think. Whoever did the branch timeline theory. Because it makes sense. We have discussed branch timelines working like that. But no, I still think it doesn't need to be that. What about the divergent time? Well, no, divergent is... I looked at something at this day and it sounds exactly like branch timelines. Yeah, what if scenarios? It's essentially a branch timeline. Nah. Yeah, it's the same thing. In this, you've got another idea for divert. I've just looked it up, and it's yeah, it's like what if scenarios. I think realities need to be compartmentalized in their own lines from the 0 point. They don't need to be splitting off. Jay, we assume 5, 6, 7 happened after 1, 2, 3, but 4 we never went back to in the future. Rapid. We did. Oh, well, I think we did. To some extent. Oh no, it's not been shown here, so I need to see from what he's doing about that. Yeah, sorry, no, he does, sorry. So what happens is... So people are like, oh, why didn't timeline change? So it was affecting Sloane. So what you got to remember is, if we're talking about branch timelines, it doesn't work for Chapter 4. Because we know from that confirmation, from Paradigm, and the deleted scenes, that definitely that 0 point somewhere else. It's in another reality. It shifted, it's tried to run away. And it got petrified and scared afterwards, yeah? So this is a round loop, yeah? So Jones travels back to OG. But in my sci-fi mind, there's no way he can travel back to Chapter 2 and 1's past, because he's not on that stretch of time. He's in Chapter 4's reality. We are meant to believe what Paradigm and the 0 point away does. Now, it moves reality. They've shifted to another reality, because that would explain why some of the events change in that reality in OG. So for me, he travels back to an old timeline on Chapter 4's perspective of the map, which then coincides with Jones traveling back, because the time machine's on the one that hits the 0 point. He bolts it into the 0 point, Big Bang happens, and he brings it forward, creating this then here, which then maybe jolts the realities about, but it's still following the story forward after that point. There's no need for us to start again. I'm not saying... I think saying it in the past overcomplicates the narrative. When you can just say, oh, Jones used a time machine at that point, travels forward, and then boom, everything's brought forward. Because you've got to remember, only Jonesy travels back, and not us. Or you could argue that timeline got deleted and we got all reset back in Reality 0, which, I don't know, is more convoluted. It just affected the past. Well, yeah, the past of chapter 4's reality. It can't be reality 0 if we believe the narrative in that chapter 4. You know. But after Big Bang, we get spat out anyway. So we get spat out and we're like, oh! And then we have a little disco in Lego, and then we go to rocket racing, and then we eventually wind up in chapter 5, which we never find out the reality number for chapter 5. We then go through until we travel to Remix, and then we travel back to chapter 6. That's where Hope takes us. Then we go to chapter 7, which again is on another reality, and then we're joined by the visitor in OG. Oh yeah, but remember, Sloane is also in chapter 4. So yes, I'm not denying that the past is being affected, but not reality 0's past. Sorry, did I not make that clear? Yes, it's be on the chapter 4 timeline. If we listen to both the dialogue where Paradigm and Amy confirms that we are far from home, to me that's saying that we're in a different reality. And stuff like this. Jones was also explicitly told, like, you know, not to mess with time. That's not what they're doing here. They just wanted to extract the Big Bang energy to move it forward, to propel us into Big Bang. And Big Bang happens there and not here in like this chapter 1 variant. That's not what happens, in my opinion, anyway. You can deny that, but I just think it then tracks like this. You can just track the story better than trying to argue the times reset, which. Braden, my thoughts. We've actually discussed it. It's going to be a video. It looks very cool. It looks like they're going to tease the other Zero shards. Also, probably going to be locations for next season. Ice King skin in the Battle Pass, and that's probably why we haven't got an idea on the new Ice King. That's probably like a tier 1. Because if you look at the teaser, you know, Ice Oven shows a Zero shard. It looks a little different. You know, bottom half or mid drift, I suppose. So we could be getting styles from that. Loot Station, hello. I don't get the diagram. Just follow the timelines. We go from chapter 1 to chapter 2, chapter 3. Zero fusion happens. Yeah? It grabs different realities like reality 659 and the Oathbound. The 0 point then at that point it also shifts to another reality as Paradigm's dialogue, which we've heard. Then obviously Jones travels back in time, but remember, he's in a different reality. Unless Fortnite wants to do some wibbly wobbly timey wimey stuff to somehow go back in time on a different stretch of reality. Good luck with that. So I digress. He travels back to chapter 4's version of OG. Unless the 0 point makes some stuff up, because it's like, well, we're going back in time here. I've got to do something. That's why some of the events were different. Jones then travels the energy back to Big Bang. So this line here is Big Bang. We then obviously go around the Lego reality. We bounce around for a bit until we go to chapter 5. Norse, yeah, 100% Norse theme now. I think I said that for chapter 7 entirely, so yeah, I might be wrong again. OG really ruined chapter 1, but it didn't. It's not chapter 1. If you do it this way, that was a different chapter 1. Chapter 1's here in Reality Zero's line. If we moved reality, I don't care what silly sci-fi, Star Trek, Doctor Who, Marvel, you can't travel back in time on a different time and a different Earth. You would travel back in that stretch of time, wouldn't you? Anyway, then we go to chapter 5, and then as I say, I think from that point it makes sense. We just travel to different realities, don't we? Chapter 6, we go to Remix, which was probably might have been created by Big Bang, or it might be the pre-6 in reality when there's Athena variants. Because that's what I haven't discussed here with you guys if you haven't been here before. Season X, we have the Rift Zones, the Rift Beacon Zones, which is not time travel as well. And they're just devices and junctions used to gain entrance to the Chapter 1 map because it was locked off because of the singularity being frozen. I know I sound mad, but that's what happened. Okay, that's what happened. Same with. Actually, that's a discussion to have. Actually, same with Chapter 2, Season 6, where Foundation seals off to 0 point. The Imagined Order ran off, didn't they? They went, "Oh, we're evacuating. Jones, please come." "No, we're doing what we should have done from the start. I'm going to the 7." Or what he should have said is, "I'm going to the 7s." But that's what 0 Point and the Foundation comics are about. The Imagined Order trying to get an anchor device back on the 0 Point so they can access the reality again. Because Sloane was in NF19V5. She wasn't in Reality Zero at that point. She got locked out. She didn't have any keys. But the same thing happens in Season X. That's why scientists and the 7 created junctions to different realities. Reality Zero variants, e.g. Tilt Town, Remix, Primal, Taco Town, Season X Visitor, which turned out to be a scientist. So that could be a variant as well. And the 7 were initially meant to be variants of one another. But now we're meant to believe that they are different 7s with different variants from different realities and different realities. And the Spy Guardians must have been there. They must have been somehow able to... And Deathstroke. I feel as it's Chapter 4 isn't a new reality and OG season was altered by Jones. That's your opinion, but Paradigm's dialogue, the whole... Well, it's not a new reality. It's not a new create reality. It's moved from an existing reality. We're not moving to new realities. We're moving to realities that have existed since the dawn of time. But from the 0 Point running away in the deleted scene, and even that's not canon, you can't really include it. Paradigm and Amy both saying we are far from home. These coordinates are wrong. What do we have to listen to? What did she say? What did Amy say? Something about coordinates. To me, that signifies we're in a different reality. Which they must have done because they knew they would need to travel back in time and they didn't want to mess around with Reality Zero's timeline, so they messed around with another one. Then we have to presume that that wasn't Midas. That was an alter... that explains a lot. And then we presume that the... Okay, that explains a lot. The whole Kano of Thorn stuff then was... variants, possibly, or no, we have to presume wherever the Wilds biome came from. No, because that got brought in. So he was trapped. So we're thinking that Kano Form was traveling on our timeline, but he wasn't. In this. See, can you imagine if you travel in time, all in realities? Like we think of it like we're wearing like blinkers. You know, horses wear blinkers. When in reality. Not in reality, it's a game, I get it. But say, if the time machine's here... Okay, you know what? Let's get this up again, because I feel like I need to, Because that's why Midas was trapped in the underground. So that might have been our Midas. And the other Midas who has his hands was just not him, and same with Oro. But travel to an alternative reality back in 2018. There isn't anything that throws that up, chat, is there? Because he doesn't mention about his hand, even though actually he did lose his hand at some point. So maybe the Midas did travel to another reality. We don't know this. Because he obviously got caught by Hades at some point. Fortnite Time Machine. What is it called? I forgot what it's called. Is there not a PNG of this time machine? There's got to be a PNG of this time machine. Are you joking me? There isn't. Yeah, but did he lose his hand because of Kato Ford, or it's just another variant? I'm not gonna argue he couldn't travel between different realities if he was traveling back in time, but I feel like he needs to travel to a different reality first before then traveling back in time. Because obviously that's okay. So on, where are we? So that's a time machine, right? So it's in chapter 4. Jonesy travels back, but obviously before that, we obviously know Kato 4 and travel back to 2018, but maybe travel back to this variant of chapter 4. But then you're meant to presume that was a map there when it was never not a map. But maybe because once a map's there, maybe there's 0 point, I don't know, made that up. Or there's another Athena somewhere else in that reality. And he's not traveling, he's traveling through time and space in a singular reality. Because to presume that somehow we moved to a different reality and then Kato 4 went back in this reality, and then what branched off the timeline so specifically like that is, I don't know, it makes less sense than just presuming that he went across there. Like, this is more logical to presume that if you time travel in Fortnite, you're just traveling through the line of reality, yeah? Because otherwise, I'm not talking theories, I'm just talking, like, if you're the Fortnite storyline writers and you're trying to make this somewhat make sense, I feel like you start doing stuff like that, you're in a rough territory. I think time travel, time travel is very dodgy anyway in storytelling. But I feel like if you just travel, like, yeah, so say, you know, we move the time machine, then we take the time machine, we go back in time here. It's chapter 5. Maybe there's an Athena variant there. I don't know. You know, because everyone says, oh, the chapter 5 map looks like the chapter 2 map, and the chapter 6 map looks like the chapter 3 map or something. But maybe that's why. When the storyline is good, it's just so much more enjoyable. If Fortnite watched Jay, the storyline would be peak. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the time travel thing just needs to be a little, you know, they need to be careful with it. What if the Dark Voyager came into our real world for a Zero Shard? That'd be cool. That'd be pretty cool. The chart is too zoomed out. We need to account for alternate timelines. What? What do you mean alternate timelines? There are alternate timelines. You mean divergent timelines? I've already explained this is on the principle that the visitor is wrong. Because he says, you've got to remember, there is doubt in what he says. We may be from alternate timelines or perhaps divergent timelines. You got to remember that is not a trusted narrator. He says perhaps. Like, yeah, you're talking this, aren't you? You're talking. Okay, let me small. You're talking this, but that gets messy because then you can diverge the timeline several times. If Fortnite wants to do that, they can do that. I just feel like it's a lot more messier, and then there's no stakes, there's no jeopardy at that point. They've got to keep it clean. This is the point. If that's what you're arguing. Could do, yeah. You can make reality 1. Fortnite likes messes. I'm not disputing that. Maybe when he went back, but wants to do it in a different reality, it makes a separate reality and that puts both of those reality together. Like the Springfield thing. Okay, we could talk about that if you want to try and do something like that. So there is incidences where you get a coming together realities, but that affects both realities. But you're well aware of them joining together, and the 7 should have been as well with other 7s. So, am I right about that? Is that a fair assumption, chat? To assume that if that did happen, and that the other 7 should know about the other 7. Yeah, because they mess up the travel. But if you argue that time travel could create branch timelines, that's what we're saying, or at least timelines that are somehow slap bang together. We got that with Chapter 2, Season 5. Yeah, but not really coming they were still separate at that point. The pure portals are obviously doors to other realities that maybe sit on top of each other. I also said this yesterday, like, yes, the lines of reality to look like, you know, to make it make sense, you have to draw them out, but they could all sit on top of each other and coexist in the same space, but never interact because of the many worlds theories. Like, they just don't interact with one another, but they are still very different timelines with their own set of rules. That's why, you know, in Marvel they have incursions, because that safeguards the reality from getting stupid, and that safeguards, you know, the storytelling. So there's jeopardy. This is my argument for Fortnite. You need to be careful that you're not creating jeopardy in just trying to slam branch timelines everywhere. 0 points in every reality. Again, that's not me saying about the many worlds theories that the 0 point can sort of be omnipresent. That's me saying you're splitting the 0 point into multiple realities, and then it gets messy. And what we're meant to presume that the 7s never realised that the 0 point was doing stuff because other members of the other 7s were messing around with it. You see what I'm saying? I don't know. This was meant to be a quick talk anyway. How's this got into like a... Oh, it was meant to just be quick. Branch timelines is confusing because it contradicts what's... But as... I don't know. I'm sure you were here for that. But what we're saying is Sloane did it into Chapter 4's reality if we believe that the 0 point moved. So that isn't... Because people think, oh, that's why the OG was different there. Well, it was different because it was in a different reality. But then Jonesy must have travelled through time and space because obviously... in that reality... So the 0 point put itself in an empty piece of space because in that reality, maybe the same thing just happened. Or maybe... No, okay. Maybe that reality's Athena just got destroyed. So in that same space, that somehow happened to be there at that point. And that's why Big Bang happened. It wasn't there after the fact. Yeah, so nothing... It didn't reform because there was nothing... So in Chapter 4... You're presuming that something destroyed the island, which was the Big Bang that hadn't happened yet because it's a paradox. So in that space of time, there was no Athena. And there was no island because Athena was going to be destroyed because of what Jonesy was about to do. And then Jonesy, once that happens, travels back, brings the energy of the Big Bang forward to this part, and then boom. I don't know. Anyway, so play some Fortnite. The whole timeline idea isn't new. Remember the non-collab POIs? Now from parallel timelines from our timeline, not parallel realities. Why doesn't it work with both? I can no, alternate realities are alternate timelines. At least in Fortnite's terms. This is in this thing. That's what these lines are for. The rift beacons were junctions to create alternate realities to bring in 7s, different members of the 7 when reality 0 was closed off because the 0 point blew up. Chapter 4 would automatically be reality 0. The 0 point is net. If Chapter 4 was new reality, it wouldn't have been. Pardon? We're definitely aware, chat, and there is other realities in Fortnite that exist without the presence of the 0 point. Well, I'm not saying Chapter 4, wherever we go in Chapter 4 does not need to be a new reality. You can call it the reality 0 because the 0 point's there, but there was definitely something else there before. Does ranked have lore? It does, but I don't know. It's the thingy teams, the elite teams. There was like some dialogue this season with the one that Elite Diego or something, or the one that looked like Diego at the time. I can't even remember anymore. But he was like, "Oh, we're looking for cool people or something." Alternate realities being alternate timelines doesn't completely work, no, because other realities collide with the 0 point. So there would have to be, for example, multiple ice moons. I'm sorry, I'm missing this whole timeline, alternate reality stuff. What are we actually saying here? What I'm saying is, it wasn't even, you know, I guess there was that bit in the 0 point comics where they were like, created millions of realities and then millions of this and then millions of that. But Diego left Oroshima. Yeah, for the, like, is that Skin Diego, the elite trainer? Is that Diego? It is Diego. So he's left to join the elites then. No, I'm trying to get it right. I'm just saying if I misunderstand myself. So there doesn't need to be alt timelines in branch. So reality 0 is just reality 0, yeah, with different worlds in there. They're not alternate timelines, but there could be a present multiverse in that timeline. I'm not so much against that because of what was said in that 0 point comic. But the whole alternate timeline things in singular realities doesn't apply, and that's not what's happening here. No, I'm just saying if reality 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, for example, have their own realities, own sort of islands. They have a central point which springs from the 0 point, and then they go about their business. And if anyone travels back in time and changes the timeline on that reality, it doesn't affect anything else because it's a what do you call it? A timeline that it's its own reality. It's its own concept. For example, different Spider-Mans helping during Zero War in Reality 0. Yeah, but that's self-contained to Marvel. Like you can say that Marvel is that's their own. We're not going to include Marvel because that's just difficult. No. Hello from Costa Rica. Hello again. How's it going? Welcome back to the stream. Unless you're a different person from Costa Rica, I'm sure you were in here yesterday. So okay, for example, Jonesy. Jonesy, okay, no, Jonesy is a poor example because of so many snapshots. So Diego. We have a Diego from 783, and we have a Diego from 782, for example. Are you telling me that there could be two versions of Diego if the timeline splits in reality 783? Because I'm like, nah, that stuff's messy. But there could be multiple versions of Diego from a post-existing line from the 0 point and have hundreds and hundreds of different realities. You're saying that it could be multiple. Do you know how messy that is now? Why can't that be realities? Why can't that be the case of realities? 'Cause, as I'm saying, what you're arguing, what you're saying, is that you're saying that this can happen, yeah, and then that timeline can branch from anywhere, from any different realities. This is the problem with infinite possibilities. Yeah, but so when has that been a point to the story now? Because at the moment it's still self-contained to every reality. That's at least what I worked out here. So it could be multiple realities. Unless you're thinking of it that every reality has been birthed from different. We're not, but that's. What's the expression? Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. I don't think that's not implied in Fortnite, no. Since Season X. Season X had that's junctions, synchronizing junctions across different realities to bring in the 7, because the main reality 0 at that point was locked off because of the 0 point. The 0 point can oscillate through countless realities, and you can access different realities through the 0 point, right? But you couldn't do that season because the 0 point had exploded. It was locked off. You couldn't come in and you couldn't come out. So the scientists had to build junctions to connect to different realities where the 7 were present. So that could be reality 200, reality 382 or something. Yeah? That doesn't have to be reality 0's alt timelines, does it? I mean, that could be. Stop yapping and play your game. But we've got like 50 people in here. If I was playing the game, we'd probably have like 16 in here. So I keep yapping, thank you. I mean, I've tried to end this 3-4 times in the last 10 minutes, and then someone says something, and then I say something, then we carry on for another 10 minutes. But you understand what I'm saying, don't you, Jay? If like that can easily be different timeline, and that can easily. Even I'm saying it now. That can easily be different realities and not different timelines. So this is what me and Ethan has come up with. So these are the alt time. Even I'm doing it now. These are the alt realities. So for example, that could be reality 300. This one here. I need like a bigger marker so you can actually see it. But this there, okay. Season X. This is Chapter 1, Season X. This is reality 0. The scientist builds junctions and uses 0 point energy from them. And you've got to remember, that thing's also on the rockets, right? He used that to build a rocket as well. Now, he can access these different realities. I mean, there could be timelines, and there are timelines in the singular reality 0, and it's a mess. But that can be condensed and self-contained to be realities. You give me V-Bucks? If you're just going to be coming in and be rude, that's not what's going to happen. Well, that's one sure way to get an easy timeout. See, I would have stopped this conversation. I was, but you know, people were interested, and we yap as long as we want to yap. I don't think there's any mods in here at the moment. We'll have to do it myself. I'll give you a minute timeout, David. Think about your actions, come back. If you do the same thing again, well, you know. So, rift beacons or reality... This is how David's put it, which is quite a good one, actually. So, rift beacons or reality raves merge locations variants with OG time. He's put time... But in my head, timelines and realities are kind of, in Fortnite's term at the moment, are the same thing. Because in that reality, you can go in the past on that timeline, but as chapter 4, if that isn't a different reality, you shouldn't be able to go to, unless you change realities, you shouldn't be able to go back to realities Zero's timeline without having to change timelines. But that's a time machine, not a rift device, or an interdimensional rift traveler. But how do cycles, iterations tie into this? Can you explain that to me like I'm an idiot? What do you mean by that? Because that's very vague. So I just want to get it. You might have to dive into that point a little bit more. Sorry. So do you think they could get reality unknown imagined? Oh yeah, 100%. They're not the same thing though, since realities can probably have separate timelines within them. In real life, I'm not, but I'm just saying it needs to be self-contained in Fortnite. If different sevens from different, if it turns out to be different realities, that is self-contained. If you start thinking different timelines, what's to stop the timeline from splitting now and again? And we have multiple sevens. Like, to have a few sevens around different realities is fine. Different timelines is ridiculous. Is that not right? You know what I mean? Oh, iterate. Okay, sorry. I see what you're saying now. Well, yes. So this is why I'd be against the timeline theory, because then it would also have to say that the last reality would have to be across different timelines plus different realities, where we know that different loops are occurring because of chapter 6. So if they've been watching us in, that's what the in-between's about. So you see the in-between, you see all the pipes going off, and you see the cube, and you see it going across red lines. That to me, that's different strains of reality being accessed through the 0 point, or through the in-between. That's without the 0 point being here, it is a bit of a struggle. But to go through for the last reality, so iterations of the loop, that's what you're saying. That is either talking about how many looped games they've been across these different realities when there's a loop bubble when there's games taking place, yeah? And that is how many iterations have happened. And then you get like the decommissioning error, yeah? Which was the dark presence. Like that, probably that same error message for the last reality would have probably been heard in the Heralds. When the Herald... So she did a spot. The point was the Herald was to chrome the island, so that's, that was decommissioned at that point. And we would have had a deleted scene where the last reality would have said, okay, that was good enough time to take the 0 point. But that didn't happen, that wasn't canon. But yeah. Now, what reality is chapter 7? 266. It's like an observation center. Yeah. But that's what everything. When I say I don't think there's different timelines in different realities, is because that with the in between, with everything we know about the last reality, with this, I just feel like it's self-contained to realities is easier to process, even for the writers, than trying to say that the timeline in realities are just constantly like shifting. But I would have to agree with you. I think there is a line in 0 point, where we get the Norse, we get Magnus, and then we get Lynx, and then it's like Batman explaining the 0 point, or someone explaining the 0 point, and there's multiverses and this and that and something like that. So yes, but that was so long ago. I don't know if that's. It's just so much easier to keep it realities at this point. You know what I mean? But no, this could easily be timelines, and it will just get messy. I'm just trying to help Fortnite. So when Jonesy went back in time in chapter 4, he wanted to go to reality 0G, so tried to go back in time to a different reality. So I think he merged two realities together. I mean, like, if that's like Simpsons, because Simpsons merge realities, maybe that is the case. And that's why it was a bit different. I don't know. So, for example, if reality 12 and 13 interacted, in terms of the Simpsons metaphor, is that what you're saying? You go back in time inside reality 12 and change that interaction, both realities are affected. If you're saying to the Simpsons idea what thing he's saying, then maybe. But what I'm saying is, yeah, if you go back, if you somehow travelled from reality 13 and you went to reality 12 and then travelled back in time, you only be interacting with reality 12's timeline. Okay, I've been thinking about this, but the Havoc Rift seems to make the visitor ship have stronger launch, but loses more guidance on the air than normal rifts. I wonder if he used it more dangerously. Yeah, and that's probably why he completely lost control of it. I feel like people are forgetting that terms like multiverse and omniverse already acknowledge alternate timelines' existence. Now, are lesser than realities. Yeah, I mean, that is true in other things, but I'm just saying in terms of Fortnite. I'm not denying that you got a point there. I'm just... is there not a need or a desire to try and keep the story self-contained to the point that we're not getting stupid? Like, maybe bring in a few... So if you're saying that the visitor reality unknown is from a branch timeline, that the timeline has split for whatever reason, you're telling me that same reality unknown could have another branch in time, like, and then another branch in time, and then there's another 7 in reality 300, and they're branching timelines as well. I mean, at this point, in reality terms, if you just count realities, there could be millions of realities with millions of variants of 7. We don't need billions, because in their millions of realities, there's billions of timelines. You see what I'm trying to say? At least you're condensing it down, you know? Why if something in reality 12 affected reality 13 if someone from reality 12 went to reality 13 but then got erased from their own timeline? How would they have entered reality 13? Well, that's just a paradox, isn't it? Maybe because they're not on their branch reality and they will never, they kind of, you know, get saved. It depends if the argument is fictional or non-fiction. Like, we can talk about this all day, but I mean, yeah, that scenario just hasn't happened though, so. How would you only be interacting with 12 if both timelines have merged at the same point? If 12, sorry, okay, yeah, if 12 has merged because of, we're taking the Simpsons theory as two realities merging. See, that's realities, that's not timelines, is it? That's clear. So how would timelines be affected in those branch realities? That would snap. That would, I mean, it should snap reality anyway, but you know what I mean? Because there'd be timelines that would be branch effectively off that. Can you switch to white? I can do. I did buy that as well. Oh. I think the idea of timelines of realities being self-contained works. They can be branches in realities with that into extent, but the main realities in game don't have to have them. Yeah, but then my question would be, why wouldn't they have them? See, it's easier just to presume in the rules of this reality, in the rules of this game's mythos, That just isn't possible. I'm not saying that you're wrong. What I'm trying to say is, as a lore guy, I want the story to sort of have jeopardy, have risk, and be self-contained to some points. Like, there can be multiple Joneses from different realities. But when you start getting into, like, the main factions, like the Seven, because I've been hearing, like, oh, yeah, there's definitely different versions of the Seven, but not the Imagined Order. Even though that actually is there is definitely one. In terms of the last reality. Then you start like, so why is one okay to go, yeah, multiple sevens, that's fine, but the other one isn't? Like, you're almost like picking and choosing when to use logic to your theories and when not to, you know what I mean? In my case, what I'm trying to argue is I'm trying to like bet against that because I don't want that to be the case. So I'm saying, oh yeah, I can imagine visitors from different realities, but once they start branching realities, then you start getting silly. But this will just change everything. Well, no, because the line is doubtful. If you're referring to when he goes, I might be from a different alternative reality, from this one, but that's not him saying that this is main continuity, because this to him is an alt reality. But what he says after is perhaps this is divergent timelines. But that's not him saying this is definitely divergent timelines, or branch reality, or branch timelines, or branch realities, whatever, divergent realities. When he gets, but he has doubt in his own words. We've got to remember that one of the biggest lines that people kept saying was, if they are right, it will be the end. And that refers to the Big Bang and the 0 point exploding. If they are right, which was the Imagined Order, it will be the end. Were they right? No. The 0 point did blow up. It didn't. It wasn't the end. I mean, it might still be ending, but it's not the end. So that was a false narrative. Like, just because someone says something in the story doesn't mean it to be true. Would you like to do a collab video with Clark? No, I hate him. No, maybe, but it's difficult because we're kind of like, I struggle to collab with anyone who's like, East time zone or West, and I think he might be even West. I don't know. Is he East? No, he's East. But yeah, it's just difficult to try and like collab with anyone from like that because, like, for me now it's 10 p.m. It's just a little difficult. I said before, maybe used to have energy fried some of the systems in a rocket ship. Jay, I made a simplified timeline about the theory about how we didn't travel back forward in time in OG and Reality Zero. Don't throw in a whole different curveball to us, Rapid. even Jay and everyone in chat will probably go, "What? don't throw another curveball into us." Oh, it's in Discord. Okay. Oh no, chat. Yeah, but the reason I don't like that is that you're messing around with time. Like, oh no, why have you just called it image? The problem with that. Oh, yeah, watch. So, okay, is this the argument for the merged timeline? So we're definitely chapter 4 is in another reality. travels back in time to a OG that somehow exists within that timeline, yes. But because the 0 point is familiar with this, it's kind of merged it. So maybe some things are happening there, which I can kind of get to. But then it's this point that I just can't get my head around. You're then assuming the Big Bang, doesn't get brought forward, because you've got to remember the whole mission was to extract. So when Jonesy hits the 0 point, or whoever's in that ship with the time machine on it, they can simply, at that point, there's still 40 seconds of the event running. That can easily travel back to Chapter 4 to bring that energy forward and then to propel everyone forward. Because this then presumes that like Chapter 2 is occurring now. Which means the 0 point is fractured across different realities where these realities can intersect. That would be my only problem with this. I mean, this could be the case in Fortnite's, I don't know, doing some timey-wimey stuff at this point. And that's when it starts to get hard, because we're then meant to presume the 0 point is shattered everywhere. But we're still running divergent to these timelines. Or these realities. I think maybe set time. Yeah, but they're only messing around. This should only be self-contained time travel in those timelines, which most sci-fis use. If you start travel, if there are a sci-fi thing with different Earths or different worlds or the many worlds theories, when they mess around with times within those realities or in those Earths, they only mess around with that self-contained thing, and the others remain unaffected. But I don't know. Anyway, it's been a great chat. It's definitely some food for thought. Obviously, I'm going to have a bit of bias, but as we're all going to have our biases, aren't we? But I don't know. I just like the idea of it being self-contained, and I think you all do too. But I understand the argument of going, well, this is how I see the evidence, Jay, and I'm sorry, but it looks like timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly is going on here, Jay. So suck it, Jay. Look, on the bright side, it means we go to chapter 2 OG when it resumes. Yeah, but then even with this alt 7, with this alternative 7, does that not mean there's the R7 still doing stuff as well as R7 being captured? That's what I mean. Is that not a massive problem to this? Or am I missing something? My problem with that, it can't be the case because different realities can't have self-contained timelines and they interact with each other. Well, I'm not saying they're interacting with each other. That's not what I'm saying. That's not my original point. That's everyone else's original point. But for that split moment, maybe the timelines can be merged. The realities can be merged, which The Simpsons and Chapter 6. But then it was also argued that this was like a... Wait, hold on. I'm remembering something about that now. Like, things were still happening in Chapter 6, but they were still okay, and that's a whole new thing. Wait, yeah, that's a whole different thing. Does anyone want to draw what they think that is? Go on, someone in chat try and draw what that is. So the timelines are existing. The realities. We've got to stop saying timelines, Jay. Realities. The Simpsons reality and Chapter 6 are existing at the same point that they're somehow merging to create this warped Simpsons Island. So both realities stay unaffected, and they're in some sort of quantum entanglement, as well as also being. The thing is, would OG even had a Chapter 2? How much of the timeline can you disturb before the outcome changes? Yeah, but if it's Chapter 4's timeline, it doesn't affect what happened in Reality Zero's timeline. So if it did completely balls up that timeline, most of the characters we've ever interacted with would not know anything about. I don't know about people who obviously was in reality, chapter 4's reality at the time. That might have been a bit of a yikes for them. But in our minds, it was fine. It's like Stranger Things, I imagine. A combination of both realities in the middle of a wormhole. Yeah. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, chat, thanks for the 35 likes. If anyone does buy anything at Fortnite Item Shop, I know Fortnite Item Shop's quite interesting. There is the Dino Thunder skins. What is your favourite Power Rangers series? SPD, Time Force, Mystic Storm. No. Ninja Force, Mystic Storm. No. Am I getting into middle? Whatever. Mystic Force, okay. Created a new reality. Wait, so we can just randomly create new realities that somehow don't spring from the 0 point. Okay, maybe you're right. I'm actually retiring. Guys, it's been a great stream. Bye-bye. Until you next time, it's been your boy, mrjayowhy. No, I'm going for a break. I'm joking. Right. Oh, that's me listening back to my stream. Right. Jones traveling to different realities to get the what do you call it? The hunters. He never mentions about timelines, does he? I don't know. I might need to listen them back. Alright, chat, I'm back. I'm back. Well, let's actually play some Fortnite, shall we? Oh wait, I'm on customs. For Mystic Force? Dino Charge. Yeah, but that's what. But if there was alternate timelines, wouldn't there not be alternate last realities? That's what I'm saying. With them being, with realities being self-contained, like yeah, and they will be individual factions that won't be present in every reality, like the last reality. But with alternate timelines, there should be multiple last realities, no? Or multiple versions of last reality members being the same member at a certain point. Yeah, see, and that's when alternate timelines doesn't make any sense. So just keep it to realities. Each one reality, they have their, maybe in their own sort of universe, loads of planets, loads of different worlds, and then that's it. Good stuff. Moving them. Chat also. You can become a member on the channel for as little as I think £1.49. It gives you videos early. You can use some cool emotes. Don't know, think about it. You don't have to, you know, you can watch this content for free. So I'll put it behind a paywall and you'll have to, I don't know. There's probably a variant of me somewhere out there in the multiverse. You have to pay to watch Jay. RIP. Is it a one-time purchase? You have to... It can be, but you need to click that option, chap. Because otherwise it will auto-renew. But no, it's once... No, so it's multiple... You need to do it for multiple months to get access to the videos. But you can do it for a month and then cancel it. If that's what you're saying. That's different to what you were... My bad. Oh, it is done in fiction. I understand that, but you know what? We're all mad. We're all mad about Fortnite. But no, you're right. Fortnite can do what they want, and they can try and make it make sense. But that annoys me, stuff like that, where they're like, okay, so. Oh, the Dino, the Zord growls, I think. At the end of the day, it's their story. Because I thought that's what snapshots were for. You know, to make it so they don't need to, like, jump to different... Maybe that was Donald Mustard's intention with the snapshots. That might not be who's ever's dealing with the story now. Because then you have snapshots plus alternate reality versions plus different timeline versions. Yeah, melty face. What even is that emoji? What do you call that? Chat players, how's it going? What do you even call that? Random government would steal it. Are we talking about in real life governments, or are we talking about the Fortnite government? Actually, I think my next video, I'm going to do a video about what happens after the Unvaulted event. Like, what are the possibilities now? Because we still have to wait for the Unvaulted event if we do get... Like, that would be the big one. If there is a 0 point in the vault, then it's like... Okay, it could be the many world theories, it could be the 0 points omnipresent, or we will find that there's 0 shards never. If it's 0, I don't know. Or it's the... What we see at... You know, the Lethal Labs is replicated what we see in the vault, and it's omnipresent or something, or it is back in time, or it is a different reality that somehow got its own 0 point and its own omniverse. I don't know. But anyway, the point of the video was, how does it go on from there? Like Big Bang, they need to do their end event with Nair 7, but like, do we have more than 7 rockets at that point? Because like, why wouldn't the other 7 get involved, or? And why would they have their end event? This is not a... This is... If this is an alt timeline, that would mean that events do not have to carry out. Like, obviously, I know the argument that OG needed to be OG, but at this point, I think Fortnite has a bit of... You know, they've got a bit of room to breathe, haven't they? Like, I don't think people will be more... I don't think people will be as mad now as if they changed it back in Season 1. You know, I feel like Fortnite's probably got a bit more of a room to move, no? So I was like, oh, does that mean... Like, we could have some of the 7 switching over for that event, or does the visitor, instead of asking his 7, just asks our 7 to join in, or whatever members are left? Do they, like... Because, you know, in Season X, obviously, in our Season X, that's what the visitor does. He builds the rift junctions, and he contacts... You know, that doesn't need to happen here. Because if there is no 0 point, or there is a 0 point, the reality won't get stuck, and they will still have access to this reality. Or, now, they do get stuck, and there is no member of 7 here. What happens to this reality then? I don't know. I always thought there'd be different 7s, but in terms of, like, say if the scientist's real name is David, yeah? David. I can imagine that in multiple realities there will be versions of this David who may not be the scientist. Also, we meant to also presume that the scientist might also be the visitor. So they're both called David, but they're very different, you know what I mean? And, you know... Like the IO, for example. Well, the IO was meant to control, like, multiple realities. So why, like... I mean, we still got the Oathbound. That's... Well, I did mention it earlier. But we got the Oathbound, that is... But that was very precise. That seems like Geno put the Aegis Champion, who was his snapshot, and not an omniversal variant, because he is... It says it in his skin description. So he put... another so literally there's an example of them using a snapshot to tell another story in another reality. Hey, yeah, I actually do remember that, I think. Unless that wasn't your name then, but I feel like I do remember. Were you a mod back in the day? I could also be realities with different people, like Ben or the scientist. Yeah, but then no, we're meant to be. How Season X, the scientist and the visitor are alternate versions of one another from different realities. Oh no, you know what? No. Okay, no, I might also remember that. Yeah. Hang on. Oh yeah, you used to be a mod as well. Okay, yeah, no, okay, same person. Yeah. So, I do remember. Yeah, because the 7 IO and Last Reality do feel better as groups when people from all throughout the Omniverse come together, so that all groups only exist in one instance. Yeah, but this is saying that the 7 exists in multiple instances. Angry Waiter, we're still discussing the whole if timelines, alt timelines, if there's branch timelines, and what that means for some of the bigger factions. We're sort of regurgitating the same information, but I feel like we're working some new stuff out, to be fair. So when I must have read that in my head, I read that whole thing in my head, and it just broke my mind, if I'm being honest. Sorry. Yeah, because if 7 Lost Reality... Oh no, that's reading someone else's. On the Ice Moon during the collision, we saw the loot bubble. If they're up for a return for a 0-point shard, we'd be able to... What? That's... In what instance did we return? That's why I read that in my head and it broke my mind. So I probably didn't read it out, if I'm being honest. Well, that's only one theorized time versions of events, I say, Angry Waiter. Chat, thanks for 41 likes. If you haven't hit the like button yet, make sure to hit the like button. What on earth is that? Is that a rift to go? I'm dead if I don't get this quick. Well, don't mind me. I was just gonna grab the random rift device that was halfway in the sky. Oh, that's weird, I don't know. See, people talk about mountains and not being able to traverse them in later chapters. Did you ever play Chapter 1? Because we didn't have sprint back then, so you couldn't, like, grab and mantle. You would just die. You would just die. Like, was the Dark Voyager? Probably. I still want to see the Dark Voyager pop out in like OG or something. But it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. Oh, why am I just flying into this crazy build fight over here, chat? Oh, this is a well positioned turret. If the shot is on the Ice Moon. Oh, is that what you're saying? Sorry. Oh my god, that's what you're saying. Wait, what? Did you not say like? I thought you said like chapter 2, chapter 3. I was getting really confused with what you're saying. Oh, what did I read then? Unless I'm reading someone else's message underneath yours. Oh, because you said collision. Okay, collision was the one that threw me. Ah, my bad. It was saying collision. That's why I then thought chat. Yeah. So yeah. Oh, isn't that's not in the files nodes that happen. That would make sense now. The Dark Voyager popping out, and you could see him from space or something. You can see the moon from here, but Dark Voyager's ship is so much smaller than the moon, so we wouldn't see it, would we? That's what I'm thinking. If the whole 0 points in OG, I'm going to be like, what? I'm expecting the shard in OG, but if there's a shard in the Ice Moon and in OG, I'm really confused. I'm really confused. Oh. Okay, well, I did not realise so many people around here. See, this is what you don't get. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, what was that for? Okay, I don't actually have a lot of builds. I needed to kill him there. Oh my god, Wither, you didn't hear about you wasn't in chat last night? Mate, I notified a Discord and streams. You didn't see the event. No. You think it's going to be the Foundation we know, or from another reality? What's the information been so far? But the whole teaser being an OG? I don't know. It feels like another Foundation, unfortunately. Unless it's something I completely forgot. I can't think of it at the time now. 1,000 resources can gathered in the game. Nice. We need a refresh, chat, or we are dead. Can we have a llama? That'd be really nice. What about that? I wish there was a mini event in OG for the Dark Harvester. See, now, because I think Fortnite, with what they've been doing recently with the storyline, probably has a bit more room to go and make changes to OG. I think that could probably happen. Definitely if it's a 0 shard, because then it changes the whole end event. But at that point, OG would set to end anyway in Season X, so it doesn't really matter what you do at that event, is it? Okay, I'll try to farm everything back now, and within 2 seconds I've wasted it all. Okay, I can go back, to Nat Box once I'm done trying to farm everything here. Even though it's absolutely nothing though. Gotta be careful here, it's kind of over. Oh, I should probably return to here. Okay, this is not good. Holy chat. Stressful. Stressful. I've actually got more mats than I thought I had. Oh, zone is horrible. No, let's agree with that shit. Oh, hello. Oh my god, what the hell? Oh my god, he don't need to waste all those mats again. Can you stop moving, sir? Please? Why did you not build there? Okay, just start building. Oh god, this is... Where is he? Oh! Okay, we had some stupid fights there. Didn't help at all. What if there's 2 0 points and it's literally the loop? There can't be there's 2 0 points. Which, oh, no. Well, Dark Voyager goes to the Ice Moon, tries to steal the shard. Ice King tries to stop him, saying he was keeping the shard to protect it. Makes a deal to remake the 0 point contained in the vault. That's what I said. That's what I recorded. We said it on stream. That will be the video to when I edit. We literally said that. That was one of the ideas I spitballed earlier. Did I? Oh no, I might have said it on TikTok. I did a TikTok today. I literally said the same thing. I said it's so maybe either he thinks it's the best for everyone to try and rebuild the 0 point, because when it's apart, that could be his reasoning. Or something like that, I don't know. That could be the reasoning, chat. I don't think the shard isn't in the Ice Moon, is it? I mean, from the teasers, it's somewhere I see with some of the Ice King's, you know, castle. Since most of it's on the island. Unless the Zero Shard's where the prisoner is, which we did say, but it doesn't look like that's the case. Move. I guess it is a singular 0 point instead of shards. It's easy to look after. So many. Oh no, didn't the orders? Didn't someone say it's better to leave? Probably better to be, you know, broken up, so you can't use it all by one. Which I used to argue all the time. So it makes more sense to keep it in bits. Rip. Oh, oh my god. That was a little steeper than I thought. I feel like it is in a vault where the 0 point is. Maybe we just... Oh, no, we've also said that to be... Well, the shard is somewhere icy. There's a teaser on Twitter. There's literally somewhere. But no, I would also concur. And there might be a shard in the vault. Imagine if the Dark Presence got the whole 0 point, we'd be done for. Look what Homer Simpson did with a tiny bit. Did we leave chat? We're technically on the same story narrative as Homer Simpson. It's on Fortnite's Twitter page. It's short. They teased season 2. New video out later today. Literally, season 2, Ice King POI. It's some random YouTube filter system. Wait, what? The Ice King is in the new pass. I hope this other style will be much better. Streetwear's an abomination. Okay, well, this is going well. Can't lie, I love the new Ice King skin, honestly. I think it's alright. It's growing on me. It reminds me of one of those memes where the old guy dressed up as a kid. What, the old Ice King's trying to act cool, is he? Okay. Fused. It's up to Fortnite at the end of the day. Would Homer Simpson beat the Ice King in a fight? I hope not. Can you imagine the scenes? Oh, it's got a minigun. Got a bazooka. So cats is related to who? And hybrids? Don't think so. Oh. How did he have the god loot? He had a god loot, man. Yo, okay, that's crazy. Half my messages just get wiped from existence. What? Oh my god, is that Kim K? Oh, it's a cracked Kim K. Oh wait, no, it's barefoot. Never mind. I thought it was Kim K. Random thought: it frustrates me that Sloan and Jones couldn't change the future, but not everything he does ripples forward to the present moment. No, he said that. No, in terms of what being a contradiction, like they could have, which they were doing, because the message changed all the time from Sloan's original message. That wasn't the idea. The idea was to extract the 0 points energy. And the Ice King did keep both the hybrid eggs and cactus frozen fairly closely to each other. I mean, he froze everything on the Ice Moon. All the weapons, all the animals and different... He had more than just cactuses now. And why didn't they just change the future? They didn't want to, because that could make a worse future. The idea wasn't to change the future. Oh no, I don't think it would have changed anything anyway, because if they were, as we keep mentioning, no, but they were in a different reality. They're only going back in time in that reality. So... Sloan literally said, we're not here to change the past, we're here to It's an extraction. How long have we been live for? 2 hours and 26 minutes. Holy chat. Chat, if you buy anything at Fortnite item shop, consider using creator code Mr. Joy in the Fortnite item shop, mrjayowhy. Type 1 in the chat if you can't use my code, so I can thank you personally. One, I think. Thank you. Thank you, Ultimate. Appreciate you using my support creator code in the Fortnite item shop to buy Dino Thunder. Rabbit Snipes, thank you. Or probably just they haven't ever come into contact with a lot of the Ice King. And I mean, he has some pretty powerful friends, didn't he? Prisoner and his other fellows, or whatever he called them. Oh, where did he buy stuff to? Ah, that's alright. As long as the times that you do buy stuff, you're using creator code Mr. Joy. Or at least a creator code, I suppose. Right, shall we, what shall we do? Oh yeah, event in 21 hours and 36 minutes. Ooh, interesting. Oh, power hour and then possibly something for it. Ice King doesn't want to smoke. Probably not. I think because they teased it with the trailer, there will be something lore related. Oh, yesterday you said you've been having problems with doing customs. Oh, me? No, since events. There's a few times we've tried to ready up for events and it hasn't happened, and I've had to go into a public game. There's been a few problems elsewhere where if you had... God, what was it? We had like a squad, but no players in it, and then other people crashed. But what I realised, they had obviously their custom key holder, but they each single, like they just did solos and there was multiple people. There's been a few issues where it's just crashed during events. I was gonna say your Ice Moon, yeah, that already happened. The Ice Moon crashed down. That was a season 7 trial. I wonder how Shape's getting on today. I wonder if he's chilled out since yesterday. It's actually so interesting to think that the majority of the ice biome was the Ice Moon, yeah. Oh my god, I can't aim. Whew! Don't mind me, chat. Don't mind me. Oh yeah, that's the point. But if that is the ice move from OG, they've got to do something, haven't they? It's got to be felt in like main BR and OG. You know what I mean, chat? Wait, hold on. If that's a port... That's a port image coming to BR, then that implies... I haven't had this for a while, you know. Where's I reading? Oh yeah, that doesn't... Well... Not necessarily. That's not might be how space works. But no, you're probably right. Why did we get this? Hello, doggy. Hello, doggy. Didn't the moon change colours in OG? So if the Dark Voyager is trying to find Zero Shards, which correlates to him using the storm in BR, which then correlates to him maybe using other means as well with the red cube. If the bunkers are flashing red toward him at the Foundation and 0 hour and stuff like that, but also the moon went red and it went purple, does that imply that that must have a 0 shard on it? And that is what's giving off the energy to turn it red or purple? And these multiple timelines with no future changing would be safely net for the story in regards to the IO and Lost Reality ever get themselves a time machine instant win. Wait, yeah, it turned red. What if the Dark Voyager had planned since then to try and affect the Havoc energy? Well, no, it also changed purple. It might not be anything to do with the Havoc energy. It actually changed 3 colours, I'm pretty sure. But that, I'm just saying, does that imply it was giving off that colour because it had a 0 shard on it? And the bunkers are giving off their thing because I know there's a 0 shard underneath the map. Whether during Chapter 4 the eclipse was red because Kato was having Havoc energy to time travel? Yes, every time he time travelled, things went weird, didn't it? Yeah, that could be right. Oh my god, this tweet's getting more. This tweet's getting some views. This tweet is. I've lost my 7 card. 37,000 views. I've definitely improved my Twitter game over the last like couple months. I've had some bangers. Maybe one by accident. That Kim Kardashian tweet. That was an accident. I did not know back in March 2025 when I randomly, jokingly said, I think it's time to put Kim Kardashian into the game. I didn't know when, when it got announced, someone would randomly find it, like the tweet, and then, 600,000 views later. But I think I've improved my Twitter game, I'm getting there, chat. Sorry, Tedious. This is a different story than the one you knew. Season 2 better not focus on the Ice King reality unknown. Fortnite has the opportunity to bring back the greatest character. Don't let it be an alternate version, please. Too late, bro. This is where the law's going right now. Yeah, Tedious. What can I say? Hey. Jay, your visitor voice acting's so funny. I don't know. Is that still getting good? The original one's getting some views. That's got 8,000 views. What was the one I did yesterday? That was a bit of a joke. It's got 1,000. The new one. So you got a 0 point on the. So the visitor is British. All right there, Governor. I see you got a 0 point on the Tuesday, innit? You're free to 0 point? Are you stupid? I see the Dark Void just got another 0 shard. You fancy a cuppa? I'll put the kettle on. I'll make us a brew, shall we? It will blow over in 5 minutes. You will see. Jolly good show, Dark Voyager. I must say no. You last reality bunch are a bunch of muppets. I don't see why you need a 0 point when you can just have a bottle of water. We're gonna do zero fusion again? Oh, splendid. Grab the tea and crumpet. Yeah. If the new visitor is British, why doesn't he have a... Okay, bro. Okay, bro. Okay, bro. Okay, bro. Wait, I had a thought about earlier on when I was about to go to run, and I was like, oh, that was it. I was meant to add that to the fee video. I don't know if I recorded it now. But I did have a thought just before I went out for a run, and obviously with everything that's going on with the Power Hour, and obviously Season 2 teasers beginning, maybe Fortnite honestly just completely underestimated the Rocket event. Can you imagine they were in a meeting, and someone was, you know, one of the directors were like, oh, so what are the plans for this month? Oh, mate, we've got a packed out month. We've got the Season 2 teasers coming with 0 shards. We've got a really good Power Hour coming. We're obviously working to improve the game. We've got the Visitors Rocket coming back in. Oh my God, in 10 minutes, someone tweet out that. Oh my God, I've completely... Someone tweet out. But yeah, mate, that thought did cross my mind. Maybe with everything happening, I just forgot. Oh, someone better tweet that out. It's happening in 5 minutes. Maybe Reality Unknown is just OG, but they are trying to hide the fact that it's Reality 0. What, in the past? Isn't he's... Oh, I don't know about that. Or, I said it's actually in this reality. Chapter 7's reality. Cien, thanks for the sub. Maybe it's this reality is OG and we just don't know it yet. But then when the visitor got here, he would have said, well, he said this reality 7, which technically wasn't. See, sometimes these voice lines make no sense. Oh, this reality is 7. No, this reality is unless he knows it. Okay, we did have some thoughts that the order said his face was familiar, but that makes no sense for him to know that and say this reality 7. Unless that implies there's a multiverse and there's an omniverse for every 7. That would be even worse. Don't. Let's not consider that one. Let's not consider that. Anyway. Mr. Hyde. Oh, what? I'm formerly known as Fortnite. Okay. Seems I'm gathering the variants for myself. But someone has to manage start events. Yes, the big ones, yes, but not. I don't know the little ones are timed. They can be timed, but sometimes the manny start. I did say this in video the other week. Some of the big ones you do have to like press something, but some of them just start. To some extent. This one seems like it would have to be a manually done, but never mind. I don't know. If there really so many 7s, couldn't they just make an army of 7s and defeat the enemies of all? Well, that's why we have the 7 resistance. That was reality's greatest warriors. We had Mancake. We had the Jonesy variants. That also implies that no other person in existence that has come across the 7 had ever, you know, at least to our... Okay, we're viewing it as from a gaming perspective, so maybe they've never told us. But for someone else not to run into the other 7 as well, like what? Or do they just presume they're the same 7? Is that in-universe explanation? Well, he builds walls in Fortnite and he hides. Also, chat, just because there's a few of you in here. Actually, what do I want to do? Oh, yeah. Visit communities. So, chat, there's this thing, if you don't know. Okay, look. I thought someone stop pretending to be me. I'm getting so confused. Anyway, you can post up in the communities, post what's on your mind, and then we make a video every either Sunday or Monday. And we have a weekly video. We've currently done 25 episodes, so if you ever want to binge, there's about 25 hours worth of content talking about Fortnite. Oh, it looks like we've got some cooking this week. We've got cooking this week. The Mr. Jayowhy, yes. Yes, did you not know that? We do this every week. I must be the only YouTuber doing that with their communities page. There's like a whole playlist, which you should be able to access. Is chapter 7. So yeah, we've got this full playlist of like videos, 25 episodes. My community believes chapter 4 is coming to OG. Whatever happened to that? Oh no, hold on. Well, this is when it was still on the phone. You couldn't do it on the desktop. So what's having energy behind the chapter 4 stuff? I don't know what we said about that. Is J point just J? Yeah, probably. Well, if there's multiple 7s, doesn't there have to be multiple lost realities because of the origin? No. Well, yes and no, because you can think of it like, okay, say if... we were talking about David's earlier, so say if David was the scientist, and you know, as we used to think that a visitor and a scientist were the same person from different realities. Say they're two different Davids. Obviously, they became very different people. One became a visitor, one became a scientist. But okay, then we have to take into account there's multiple versions. So we presuming that whoever is the origin of their reality have to become the Cube King first. So some realities that guy doesn't become the origin. Someone else becomes the origin. I guess it's not necessarily every single what do you mean ear reveal? I've done some communities video without these headphones on because I don't need to listen to anything. Yeah, not necessarily the same people. So they could still use the visitor, the origin, the scientist, but for whatever reason, different people become those, or some 7 will have a complete different naming structure. Ethan, how's it going? Yo, 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 yo. It's 12:13 a.m. for you. Damn. Enjoy. Thanks for being here. Have a good rest of your day, even though it's going to be a short day, but thank you very much. Thank you very much. I do appreciate the support. Crazy miss. Find short shift at work. Nice. I've just seen back my reaction. I can't show it because it's BBC, but there's like Rafe against St. Johnson's. Terrible miss. Terrible miss. I put it in Discord if anyone wants to see it. Then you can understand my reaction to what I've just seen. What awful miss! Awful miss! Awful miss! What is happening? What is happening? Fortnite builder? No, that's now Hido what? Why would it originate from that jungle? Why would what originate from what jungle? Similar runes and tech. I don't know where the conversation started. We don't know the origin. Okay, sorry, it started from this tweet. We don't know the origin of the last reality. If it originates from Chapter 4's jungle, and then we could be other versions of jungles or people who live there versus different versions. I mean, that could exist in realities, but we're not like. At least with self-contained realities, there can be wide difference or very, very different variations. But yes, no, you're right. But we're hoping, because the nothing predates everything, he should at least be able to to structure it so you don't have multiple last realities, and that's what you're trying to argue. See, this is a problem when you're called a noun and a verb by what? I was never at 2 seconds going, what? Oh. I hate how the characters have been made dumber. Jones and Hope leave in the shard outside. That's if they got there. That's if they. I'm starting to think they didn't. I don't know. I don't think they got the Chapter 6 shard. I just think they got sucked into it and then got picked up. But what was Midas? What the whole thing of Midas about? What shards did they have? I don't know. I don't see. How do you think about that? Wasn't that what OG was? But then they would already know the existence of the visitor. Definitely some things needed like tying up. I don't know, chat. I don't know, chat. Chat, spam! No, I don't spam. Who is your... At the moment, who do you prefer? The Visitor Reality Unknown or the Visitor? Even though the Visitor didn't have any dialogue, no nothing, like you know, we've known him a lot longer. Have we just all forgotten about that guy? The official ramifications of the Fortnite storyline are known because he's more known. I ain't OG. Yeah, but you don't have to be OG. How chapter 3 the Visitor was around. I prefer the new one's design. I like the Reality Unknown Visitor has a bit of a temper. Honestly, I might sue Fortnite. I've literally taken my how I saw the Visitor. I don't see flipping paradigm, do you? That was chapter 5. Say we scratch out the shard as their fault. Their rejection to the Dark Voyager's city. His ship is alone, obvious last... Oh, okay, yeah, fair, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. I've made jokes about Jones just, oh, you know, we need to do something, and there's like the big Dark Voyager ship just hovering behind him. As for character personality, I don't know the older one that well. Fair enough. Actually, OG Visitor is better. The new one can't drive. Hey, barreled rolled the rocket. The shape was struggling. He was worried for a second. Bro was, oh, don't please. Bro was struggling. Could we see a 7 versus 7 season? Like a dark 7. If only there was a way to get evil members of the 7. Why do I think you have a suit on? It's a jacket. It's a jacket. Ooh. Sorry, it's not a suit. No, for when we talk Fortnite storyline stuff, you know, I get smart. I get it's something easy to throw on, so I keep the same continuity across videos. So you either see me in this, or you see me in like a woolly top. I'm scared to be the no. I mean, I've got a good reach. I'm 6'1", so you know I should be all right. Ultimate, what even is that comment about? The characters don't know their fates, but as we, the audience, we know of our teammates, and only ones that could possibly. Yeah, what the hell was the fate of the 7 is unknown. That's what. Oh wait, was that not a question, or was that an actual complete sentence? Wait, what was it? Okay, I'm confused. Was that a complete sentence? Wait. What was it? 6'1", I'm taller, 6'2". You know when they say the bigger they are, the harder they fall? Yeah, no, fair point. Fair point. Fortnite channels. Wrong video.
Throughout history, the 0 Point has secretly connected civilizations.
I feel like because he says nah, that kills the old deviant divergent timers.
For over 1,000 years, the Imagined Order controlled the 0 Point, trapping people in an endless loop. Seven heroes came together to battle the Imagined Order.
That's a lie! Let me just rephrase that for you. Actually, I might do this as a funny video now. Wait, can I get what is it? Jonesy's speech instrumental. What's it called? Does anyone know what this is called? Chat, does anyone have it? I will do a video of music. There we go. Seven heroes came together. No, multiple. No. Multiple sevens came together across the known multiverse in different alternate timelines to free the 0 Point. Not just one of them actually. No, none of them actually came together to free the 0 Point because they can't all free the 0 Point because it end this reality strewn across the Armyverse. Okay, I think that works. Right. Okay. Where was the actual one I'm listening to? Sorry, I got distracted there.
And free the 0 Point. The conflict ended with the 0 Point shattered and strewn across all realities.
Not timelines, never timelines.
And the fate of the seven is unknown.
Yeah, that's actually a complete sentence now. I mean, it probably was before, because I'm pretty sure I remember saying that. Oh, isn't that what OG's called? I mean, you can just say that the seven, but then there wouldn't be that. That would be the original theory you had, and somehow, when the seven get chromed and they somehow begin their life again at the start of whatever the alternate timeline is, and the story goes forward. I mean, we have talked about that scenario, but that scenario is quite long-winded, no? But I kind of like it because it still says that he's not our visitor, but at the same time he is. Just like, I don't know, reincarnated. Conflict didn't end with the 0 Point shattering because it shattered after the conflict ended. Well, to some extent, I get what you're saying, but you could, like, imagine it to the point of, like, he sort of, I don't know, hyperbolic or something. It was like, that kind of happened really close altogether. And it did, the conflict did end because everything that happened. Okay, we were kind of explaining this. I kind of forgot to probably finish as a point. But what the whole Zero Fusion was about was the seven trying to elongate their ability to try and, at least for the scientists, to try and rewrite his wrongs in freeing the 0 Point. So yeah, the active fighting conflict was probably over, but I mean, it did end with a 0 point shattering. So they did zero fusion. They managed to get the 0 point together. But obviously, I believe that zero fusion, they brought together realities to be able to continue the story. Maybe Paradigm went to 659, which was one of the realities she brought in. So did the scientists know of other realities? And with the Aegis and the Oathbound being brought in, the Brutal Bastion, Wilds, which brought in Sloane to do OG, Oathbound, Stellan to create the Riftgate. It's like, were these pre-selected? Was it coincidental? I don't think so. But then again, once that 0 point then shatters, that's when the conflict ends. That's when that arc ends. So I kind of get it if you think of it like that. Do all the 7 have powers? I don't know. What the visitor we have now is currently a spy. I mean, we only believe in what he's saying. And because Fortnite is an American game, most of their villains, this is actually not a paradox. This is quite a regular thing for films. Like, different countries that do different films will have their villains be like other like languages or like accents. Americans like to always have British as their villains. So I don't know, but that's actually a common thing. That's why most of like James Bond's villains are like Russian. It's a trope for movies to have a British. Is that, well, for American films mostly? If it's a British film, they tend to have maybe Americans, Russians, that sort of thing. Jay, I figured out why only now we are seeing alternate sevens. The visit. How can there be multiple versions of the 7? There is. There just is, but Americans like to have British people as high class people to like politicians, though. I don't think that's kind of. I get what you're saying, though. I think I get what you're saying. Is Fortnite politics basically just a storyline? Like, Chalupa's is the story just really boring? What, you mean like real life? Well, yeah, they probably just want to get on with their lives, but they're just either being in a loop or like getting taken out by mystical, powerful beings. The 0 point can see the future because it builds it. I guess to some extent that's right. We've seen like the Jonesy tell the future, as well as I guess the last reality during the Ariana Grande concert. Oh, I was just realised who that is. I missed the rocket event. Rip. Do you think we see a Cube Queen again soon? Realities unknowns, Cube Queen. I don't know. Aviation. At this point, anything's possible. Notice how only after the imagined order was destroyed we started seeing island variants, and we only see it after because IO don't have the 0 point under control. What some people? Well, yeah. Well, no. Well, that's a good point because the 0 point is like one of the easiest methods to travel interdimensionally. Or you have to create a portal like the Rift Gate or something, or have the 7 rocket. So it actually requires a lot of technology. I mean, even with the 0 point. The 0 point's a gateway to other realities. So, like... I mean, Imagine's Order's fault in the first place because they brought people from other realities in to... You know, we're kidnapping people. Yeah, we were talking about if realities existed prior to... Which we believe that is the point because, well, at least our realities did. So every other reality did. And it just got reorganised. Because all the time we went through is still continuity and is still mentioned. The Dark Voyager goes through a portal and leaves after, so he's probably reporting back. No, he's going to grab other Zero Shards. That's what he's doing when he's doing that. The IO didn't completely fall. Pretty sure they still have bases in other realities. Yeah, but once you lose like a kingpin like Geno, what wouldn't the IO just fall? But with a time reset, the time didn't reset. No, nothing's been reset. I hope not, though. I mean, with variants now, it doesn't need to be. Why do you reset the timeline if the timeline could bend, how some people are saying? Yeah, Stephen? If there are 2 realities, only 2 0... There's more than 2 realities, I assure you. No, well, there shouldn't be 2 0 points. You have to ask me again until the... I read your previous comment, Ethan. I said you had a good point, no. Oh, what, before it? I have no idea. I can't see it. Two big ones. I read the one about the Imagined Order seeing different variants, but I don't see another one. Oh, did they? It's possible. Let's go with a tweet from earlier. I think the origin from our reality is on the last reality again after he got chromes. How he gets turned into general from concepts. So that'd be cool. That would be wicked. General was really cool in Thingy's events, by the way, the Genesis. We'll also explain why the new visitor is still earlier into this timeline. What would? You must be saying something where your messages are being thingied. Because all I'm seeing is that it would also explain why the new visitor is still early into this timeline. Well, no. Well, even if that's the case, he's been getting chased down. He's chasing down the Dark Voyager. Like, Nat 7 has been doing their own stuff. Like the time, like there's prehistory there. Like yes, they remember a previous sort of map that's they have similarities in there, which would establish that they've been through other variations of maps or missions before this. I think the new visitor is more confident. No, the other visitor was fine. He's just a strong science type. But I mean, he did enough talking in Zero War. Came up with some pretty good ideas, actually. I think it was him who mentioned about the paradigm, about the mech. Maybe the new visitor is from one of the previous iterations the last reality was talking about, and that's why he's chasing the Dark Voyager. Something must have happened to his 7 for him to be following the... No, his 7 are fine. All his 7 are alive and counted for. Order confirms that by saying he hasn't suffered any loss. That's what we all thought, and then that turns out that's okay. He's just the guy anyway, you know? I always think the 0 point wasn't free. Reality Zero variants didn't have the 0 point to coexist with them. Because I had it controlled in our OG timeline. But now his 7 have encountered their first loss, unless... What do you mean? The 7 don't always have to be around together. Unless they presume that he's gone off, gone AWOL. Alright. Anyway, chat, I need to go and grab something to eat. Guys, if you do buy anything at Fortnite, oh yeah, I see what someone was saying earlier about today's bestsellers. Yeah, no Kim Kardashian. Oh wait, it's still there, just not here. But guys, thanks for watching this stream. It's been very informative. But thanks for being here. Thanks for the 51 likes. Thanks for all the support this stream. Should be a new video out at some point talk about the Ice King in Season 2. You can join the Discord. The link should either be in the description or in the About section. But it has been a good one. But guys, until next time, it has been your boy, mrjayowhy. Until next time, bye-bye.